various experts from the security community here, and we provide our services to the Irish business community for free. So if you go to our website, you can sign up and we create alerts. And what we do is kind of what Steve and Olivia were talking about is we collaborate and we work with other certs throughout Europe in response to incidents, be they based here or be they based elsewhere. And we're closely tied in with the CERT networks, with TFC CERT and First.org as well. So when we look at the world and we look at the map, physically Ireland is a small little dot way up there on your left-hand side. We kind of look physically, we're tucked away in the corner, we're nice and safe. But I think what we've seen today, this week in particular, is that while we may be physically surrounded by water, we're actually electronically and cyber and through different networks, we're connected worldwide, and we can reach out to anybody in the world, and anybody in the world can reach out back into us. And our economy is very dependent on the digital environment and infrastructure. 8 of the top 10 global ICT companies are based here in Ireland. 9 of the top 10 global pharma companies are based here in Ireland as well. 6 of the top 10 global games companies are based in Ireland. I think, if anything, we should be congratulating IDA Ireland on the great work they're doing in getting these businesses here. 17 of the top 25 global medical device companies are based here in Ireland. 10 of the top 10 born internet companies are here, so Facebook, Twitter, etc. They're all based here in Ireland as well. 50% of the world's leading financial services firms have a presence here in Ireland as well, down the IFSC. And I think very importantly for us here in this room, 94% of Irish enterprises depend on the internet for business. So I think what those statistics show is that computers, internet and networks are very crucial to how we do business today and how we maintain business as well. And I think these are just some of, just to highlight how important cybersecurity is. These are a number of organizations in the past 12 to 24 months that have had a cybersecurity breach in some way, shape or form. Now, I'm not going to go through all the different ones there, but you can see some very big, well-known names there. They've all reached the front page of the headlines, and I think this week is not going to go without talking about Loyalty Build, where they've had a security breach which has impacted hundreds of thousands and over 1 million people throughout Europe. So security is is more and more critical to businesses. So we actually run our own cybercrime conference, and we have it on next week. And what we do is each year we take all the statistics of all the incidents that are reported to us. So these are incidents that are reported to us. They come to us from other certs outside the jurisdiction. They come to us from private sector companies that do a lot of work in this area to alert us that there are potential problems here in Ireland. And they come to us from companies here in Ireland who report to us for us to reach out to certs in other jurisdictions to help deal with cybercrime. So these are just incidents reported to us. There's probably, I know there's a lot of people here from different companies working in security consulting and services, and they're all flat out busy. So, there's a lot more going on than just what's being reported to us. But I just want to break down some of these incidents, because what tends to get the headlines is the major data security breaches. So the Loyalty Build incident is grabbing the headlines. But criminals are looking to break into people's networks, not just to steal data. Data is very important to them, be that financial data, which they can abuse and commit fraud, but intellectual property. So they're looking to break into companies' networks to steal intellectual property, which they can sell to competitors. They're looking for personal information that they can sell on. Your online personal data, like Olivia talked about, for $2, you can take down your competitor's website with a DDoS attack. Your online data is worth about $1 to $5, depending on how much information. So your email address, your name, your date of birth, all the information is sold online. A credit card that is fully with a credit balance up to maybe $15,000 can typically get between $1 to $5 on the underground market, and it's a supply and demand. These underground markets, they're like the criminal equivalent of eBay and they rate each other. Yes, Brian, he's a very trustworthy criminal, he's a 5-star, you can sell your credit cards to him, he is going to give you money. Olivier, don't trust him so much, he's only got a 2-star, he never delivers, or the credit card data is not as valuable. But they're dealing with these things, and Olivier did highlight you don't need to be a technology guru to do this. All you need is a credit card. These services are out there. So criminals are using these things. And for those DDoS attacks and those spam runs and some of the statistics that came up in Steve's presentation, those other type of attacks, they need the infrastructure to do it. Now, criminals aren't going to go to a data center and hire and pay for a server. They're going to break into your networks and use your network bandwidth, use your server bandwidth, and use your PCs to control and operate things. So, for example, they run botnets. So this is where they send out viruses and infect hundreds of thousands of computers, even millions of computers around the world, and they now control that network. Your computer, if it's infected, you will not notice it because they don't want that to happen. They want to use your computer. And if they want to attack a website in a DDoS attack, they've got their $2 for somebody to attack another website, they would just send commands out to those hundreds of thousands of computers, and all those hundreds of thousands of computers would take part in those attacks without the owner's knowledge. And that's how botnets work. So not only do they want to break in to steal your data, they want to break in to use your infrastructure as well and to store their information. So this just maybe highlight where the companies are. And a lot of the companies we deal with and the instances we've dealt with will be typically in the SME sector. And that's an area that I think has a lot of challenges when it comes to cybersecurity because they don't have the resources or the skills in this area. The larger companies and larger organizations do have dedicated in-house teams so can deal with this threat in a much better. So as I said, we had 432 instances. So we had, of those instances, 74% of them were where criminals broke into websites here in Ireland to host their phishing sites to attack financial institutions or other institutions elsewhere. So this is where they break into a website. They wouldn't alter the original website. It still operates and works the way it should be. But sitting in parallel to that website, they have their fake website up that maybe it could be attacking Citibank, it could be attacking a bank from Japan, it could be attacking PayPal. And they send out their emails to try and phish that information, and they direct the people to those websites. So they're using Irish websites to host phishing sites. So that's 75% of the instances we deal with have been in that area. 19% were where they broke into websites to host viruses. So when you go to visit that website, the website looks normal and operates normally, but if your machine is not updated with good antivirus software or hasn't got the latest security patches installed on your computer, it will automatically download this virus and infect your computer. And the criminals will then use that then to steal your personal data, your financial data, or, as I said earlier on, to try and use you as part of a botnet to attack other companies as well. And then 7% we've instance where there was DDoS attacks and various other attacks. But you can see a good proportion, well over 90%, were based on SMEs. Based on our analysis of that information and we only do this analysis based on the motivation. Why would you host a phishing site? Well, it's because you want to steal people's money. So therefore, 95% of those instances is organised crime behind it. So the archetypical image we have of the cyber criminal of some teenage boy stuck in a basement playing heavy metal music and eating pizza and scanning machines and just trying to break in, that's no longer there. This is organised crime. These are organised criminals who see the opportunity and the growth to be able to attack systems and steal money. So organised crime is very, very heavily involved in this area as well. And we just talked about ransomware. And we actually, last year, we had an instance of where criminals would break into the network of a company. And what they would do is they alter the backup tapes and the backup software on that, for that company. So the backups would still run, but the backups don't back up any data. So it overwrites the media you're backing up onto. So if you've got a tape for your Monday night backup, your tape is overwritten with nothing. Same with Tuesday night, Wednesday night, Thursday night. So this continues on for a few weeks. You're quite happily getting your notification emails back up ran successfully, but you're actually backing up nothing. Your tapes, in effect, are blank. They then come back in again, and they encrypt your hard disk with industry-grade encryption keys, so it can't be decrypted. Now, your first reaction when you respond to this is, oh, that's great, I'll just go get my backup tape, I'll do a restore, and I've got my data back. But you did put your tape in the tape machine, and you've got no data. So now, as a business owner, you are stuck. Do you pay this ransom, as you can see there, of €3,000, or do you rebuild your data that you've spent thousands of man-hours putting into place? In all the cases we're aware of, the people have ended up paying the ransomware to these criminals. In actual fact, one gang actually had a customer rating website that if you went to the website and gave them a positive rating, they'd give you a 20% discount on the ransom. Yeah. These people are business people. They're in it to make money. And when we actually went into it, and Steve talked about black swan events like Stuxnet and everything else, and even Loyalty Build, they're all grabbing the headlines or the big news, and it's what gets the media and grabs people's attention. But when we looked into those instances, this is where the root cause of the problem is. It's poor passwords. It's people using the same passwords across different systems. It's people using password 1 as their password, or if they're going to be really sophisticated, using password 12, because an extra number is going to make them more secure. So it's poor passwords and poor password management that have caused the problems. Missing patches, where servers have not been patched. The web servers have not been patched, so the company is invested in getting a new website, and the website being put up, website goes live, and they forget about it. Now, to me, that's akin in this digital age of opening up a shop front on a main street in a town and not painting it every few years and not keeping it tidy because it dilapidates. Your website is the same thing. You have to keep it maintained, you have to keep it updated and secure. But many companies forget about that, and then we can have these attacks. Or likewise, on the other side where PCs are compromised is computers not having the operating system patches or up-to-date antivirus software on it. And there's been a lot of attacks on particular web platforms. So it's very common to use different web platforms to create websites, and very often these platforms will end up with vulnerabilities in them, and you can have these mass attacks. So there may be a vulnerability found in a particular web platform today. The criminals will find out about it. They will write an automated tool to scan the internet for those vulnerabilities on those platforms, and then compromise those websites. And one of the big things is out-of-date antivirus software, where antivirus software has not been updated, and that has allowed infection to happen. But I suppose overall, the big things is lack of monitoring. So there is a lot of data in companies' networks. The security devices that are there, the antivirus software, is monitoring what's going on and being aware of what's happening in your network and reacting to alerts that you've got a security breach or a potential security breach. That is a big thing, because all of those 432 instances that we were involved in, not one of the companies knew they had a security problem until they were contacted by us. So I think that's a pretty startling statistic, that these companies did not know they had a security problem until somebody else told them. If somebody broke into your business and kicked down your front door or broke a window to get in, you would know straight away the next morning, because you can physically see that you can monitor your physical presence. You need to monitor your online presence as well. So hopefully that's an area that, from education awareness, that people can try and improve. So what I would suggest and what we need to do is make people more aware of what the threats are out there, but even more aware of how to deal with those threats and what simple steps they can take to increase and enhance their security, such as making sure users are using secure passwords, that patches are applied, that systems